Yes, people, welcome back to AFTV. If you are new, make sure you hit like button and subscribe. I am your host today for the preview, Aston Villa versus Arsenal. And I'm with two great guests. First of all, to my right, we've got Laurie Lau in the building. What are you telling me, Laurie?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Love being on the show with you guys. Yeah.
Love to have you, man. And different for you now. No more hosting. You've been hosting. Every time I've been hosting on AFTV, you're hosting.
Yeah. With Cecil's continued absence. No, I mean, it's nice to have a different look sometimes. I was due to host as well. I thought, as you're here and you're very articulate, well-spoken, know your football, I thought, yeah, makes sense.
Oh, that's very kind of you, man. Thank you very much, mate. To my left, we've got Matt in the house. What are you saying, bro?
I'm good, and it's good to finally do a little bit of content.
Yeah, man. It's been too long, bro.
What I've been doing is watching, and now sat beside each other. Pretty cool.
No, that is pretty cool, man. And big up to what you're doing as well. Mad things on the overlap. Bit of a mad shout that Declan Rice for Ballon d'Or. They got a little bit of heated, bro.
We were just saying before, it sounds outrageous. It sounds more outrageous than it actually is, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, look, maybe April comes along and it doesn't sound too mad. Let's hope so, right? Let's hope so. But we're here to talk about Aston Villa. Touch on the performance against Brentford very briefly. Laurie, I'll start with you. Arteta made some changes. He rotated for that game. Some might say that it was quite brave doing that because a lot of people thought we would have rotated more in the Bayern Munich game. Some thought that would have been as important as it was. Chelsea then become massive. And then when you drop points to Chelsea, Brentford then becomes massive. So the rotated players was something that I kind of expected and wanted to see against Brentford. But is that going to have a massive effect on what we do at the weekend against Villa?
No, not really. I was in favour of the rotation. In fact, we spoke off camera about this. I would have rested Declan Rice. I was saying previously when I did a show on AFTV before the Brentford game, I would have rested Declan Rice, I would have rested Timber. I would have rested Eze. So I was in favour of the rotation because I do think that in the Chelsea game, it's my opinion that quite a few of our heavy hitters were not at their best and I detected a bit of tiredness, both physically and mentally. So, at the end of the day, we were playing Brentford. No disrespects, but they're 10th, we're first. That's for a reason, yeah? We're at home. I mean, I was talking about it off camera, but if you can't play Christian Norgard against Brentford at home, then I have to question why did we buy the guy in the first place? Because, come on now. He was captain in Brentford last year, he's one of their best players. He came to Arsenal with a good reputation. He's known for his athleticism. If Declan's not quite at it, needs a rest, I don't see why we couldn't have played him. But anyway, he didn't play. But I was in favour of the rotations.
Can I just play devil's advocate on that?
Go for it.
Declan Rice is not the type of guy to say, I'm not fit enough to play this game. He would have been wanting to play that game. So as the manager in a title race, in an important game, I know you're saying they're 10th and we're first, but it's still not an easy game. How can Arteta drop Declan Rice if he's obviously saying I'm fit and I'm ready to play? Do you know what I mean?
I would answer that by saying this. Sometimes you have to protect players from themselves because, a guy like Declan Rice, obviously I don't know him personally, but I would imagine he's not the kind of guy that's going to want to sit out games. He's going to want to play every minute of every game and he will think he can give off his best. Sometimes it requires a manager to say to the player, look, I'm protecting you. You're not being dropped, you're being rotated because we've got a game, an even bigger game, I would argue, against Villa in a couple of days' time. And that is going to be, with respect again to Brentford, a more onerous challenge than Brentford is at home. Winning titles is not about the first 11 anymore. It may have been many years ago, back when I was a kid, but now it's a squad game. And we keep talking at Arsenal about we've got the best squad in terms of depth. So, okay, use the guys.
Show it.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean?
I mean, look, I get what Matt's saying. Declan Rice at the moment is undroppable, but he also isn't invincible. So when you look at what happened with Saka overplaying, grade 3, I think a lot of people, not myself, but a lot of people are worried that that could potentially be a problem for Declan Rice. And having said that, do we actually have a replacement for Declan Rice?
No, we don't. He's irreplaceable. And then I look at patterns at City's dominance for years. Look who they had in the middle playing every single game. I know it ended up catching up on him, but Rodri didn't miss a game. And I think that's a massive... When you've got a player of that importance in the middle, specifically in that role that Rodri and Rice play very similarly, if they don't want to be dropped, you don't drop them. You have to play them every game. They control the team. Declan Rice controls our team, and I think we might be a little bit lost without him.
I mean, look, Saka's always been my guy. He's always been my favourite player, but kind of starting to run out of superlatives for Declan Rice, and he's right up there for me, and I think he's
absolutely.
massively important. And I do think he needs to play in this game. And I was worried against Brentford, where it was like 82 minutes, and he's actually gone down before we're bringing him off. I thought he might have brought him off before that at least. I mean, maybe, look, I would have said rested him with you, right? However, I do think there could be the potential to see a few of them rested for the Club Brugge and Wolves games. And I think that's what he's trying to do, is get him across this line against Aston Villa. So that's kind of what I wanted to start it with. And the other player I have to mention, before we go into the game and kind of predictions and stuff, Mikel Merino right now. Can we just say he's a striker? I mean, like, can we just say he's a striker?
100%. His best position is up front, therefore he's a striker. He's like the reverse Joe Linton. Joe Linton went from striker, he's now a centre mid because they realised that was his best position. Marino is better as a striker than he is as a midfielder.
So would you start him ahead of Gyökeres if both are fit then?
Do you know what? I'll say this. Right now, I think it's up to Kai Havertz, Jesus and Gyökeres to get Marino out of that spot. And while he's scoring, like he just has been in the last couple of games, I don't think I'm dropping him, you know.
Neither.
You agree?
Would you? Yeah, well, I think Gyökeres is shitting himself a little bit. Because that wasn't meant to happen. Marino was not meant to be our striker again. That was a spell off the back of last season that made us go out and spend big money on a striker. But Marino's not having any of it. That's 28 goal contributions this year. It's outrageous numbers for a midfielder. So I think you can't drop him, can you?
And what I think with Mikel Merino, what I've noticed about him, and it's just, I just think he's a damn good footballer. I mean, you look at that goal he scored yesterday, the first one. He heads it down into the technique for that is what impressed me the most.
Yeah.
And then the assist at the end, a slide rule pass through to Saka. He's very understated, man. And whilst I'm an admirer of Gyökeres, and they are different types of player, I must admit, against Villa, if Gyökeres is fit enough, I'd like to see him start, because I think he engages the defenders a little bit more effectively than Mikel Merino is. But, you know, I could see him coming on. I could see him scoring in that game as well.
I think Marino's got a nice, proven track record of doing it when it matters most. Obviously, Gyökeres hasn't had the time to do that yet, but he has played in some big games and not shown up. Liverpool, United. Marino's scored against massive teams in massive games. I'd go with Marino on Saturday.
I think it's a good shout. 30 goals and assists now in 2025 for club and country. I mean, we're not talking, that's an unbelievable record for a player who isn't really known to be that kind of number 9. And let's be real, I was one of the people last season when I was like, really? You're putting Mikel Merino up front trying to win the league? And do you know what? I look silly now because, you know, off the back of that, he got 2 goals against Leicester, if you remember. He was brilliant against Real Madrid, home and away. Scoring and assisting. And you're right, he's gone to big grounds and he scored really good goals.
Like he's also doing it at international level, by the way. He's doing it for Spain against world-class opposition. So
I think he deserves a lot of respect, to be honest with you, Marino.
Oh,
I really
100%.
do. I'd probably go with him. We'll come into towards the end of the stream.
I thought he was our man of the match yesterday. Listen, I get it. Ben White played really well. But if you win 2-0 and one player scores and assists, then for me, got to give him the nod. But hey,
Look, before we come into Aston Villa themselves, because they've been absolutely flying, their defence right now, Matt, is looking a little bit injury prone. Let's be real. Calafiori, I thought, was excellent against Brentford again. I actually thought he was our best player, funny enough. I know Ben White got man of the match. Ben White might deserve another start if things go in. We've got Jurriën Timber, who tried to get a rest against Brentford. We had to bring him on. Mosquera went down. Saliba, we don't know, is fit. Gabriel definitely is out. Nkapie's there as well. As much as we're stacked, I don't really know what backline we're going to go with at the weekend.
No, I don't either. And I want to talk about the injuries because, look, there's bad luck and then there's having every centre-back injured. And I'm not a conspiracist. I don't know what goes on at the training ground. But do you think that there is something that maybe these players are doing too often when, you know, outside of games that might be causing this? Because it is absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen players just dropping like flies, centre-backs specifically, attackers as well. Midfielders seem to be all right from time to time. But yeah, it's just like another one, like the game stopped 4 or 5, another one really?
I think that is a legitimate question, to be honest,
I.
because, listen, I've heard stories that the manager likes to so-called train as they play, meaning that the training sessions are quite intense. Now, that's fine. But the corollary to that is you're going to get players that are going to pick up knocks and niggles, and in a match situation, it can manifest itself. So if you look at Mosquera's injury yesterday, it looked fairly innocuous, didn't it? The challenge. There was no real... If you look at it, you think, But he's gone down and it doesn't look good, does it?
Well, look, let's be real. When a player gets an injury, anybody can get injured at any time. It's the sort of injuries we're getting that are worrying me. Because if you would get an ACL and to get maybe a broken leg, that is genuinely unlucky in my opinion.
Sure.
If you're going down with niggles, you're going down with muscle injuries.
Soft tissue.
Saliba, Saka, Madueke, all these guys that are getting like a few weeks to a couple of months out. I wonder what they are doing in training. High intensity, maybe.
What are they actually doing in training?
Because I would have thought that, listen, I'm by no means a professional footballer, but from what I've come to know over the years, so the bulk of your fitness training is done in the closed season and the pre-season. So I'm not sure if it makes sense to flog these guys in training hard if they're playing games, 2-3 games a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why we're picking up what appears to be a disproportionate level of soft tissue injuries. I don't get it.
Did you see Saliba's reaction to it as well?
Yeah, I did see that.
And he literally just went...
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like he sort of knows something. I don't know. I'm chatting rubbish, but it's like sort of again like a really another one. Is this what we're doing now? You've got Gabriel and Saliba on the bench looking at another centre back going down injured. What must they be thinking?
Well, we've got a big game on Saturday, a really big game, and it's a tough place to go.
It is.
It always is. And I know we won there last year, but if you remember, Ollie Watkins missed 2 absolute sitters.
Yeah.
On a different day, that could have been a different result in a different game, right? But when I look at where we're at in relation to Aston Villa right now, I have to give them some respect, Laurie, because for the first few games, they were the only team out of the 92 that hadn't scored a goal. And everybody was laughing at them. And everyone was questioning Unai Emery and saying, are you the guy that can take Villa to the next level? And I think he's kind of proved that he can bounce back with this team because they are, at the moment, apparently the overperforming team in the Premier League.
Yeah,
so it's a hard time to face them, Laurie.
It is, yeah. If you look at the form stats, they are the informed team at the Premier League at the moment, ahead of us even. And even the game they had against Brighton, they were 2-0 down in that game, went on to win 4-3 away from home. So you can imagine that when we faced them on Saturday, early kickoff as well, they're going to be buoyant. They're going to be up for it. They've moved into third in the table now, so they'll be having title aspirations of their own. So this is going to be an incredibly difficult game, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that I think certain players could have been rested. Your Declan Rices, your Timbers for the Brentford game, but they wasn't. But hey, because we're going to need those guys. We're not going to just need them. They need to be at their levels against Villa, because that is going to be a difficult game.
Yeah, facts. Matt, how do you see this one going?
You've got to remember that they've also played a lot of games as well. Their players are going to be a little bit leggy. The thing is with Villa, they're a superb side. I think Emery's an unbelievable coach, if we're being honest. I know it didn't work out at Arsenal, but I think the difference between Arsenal and Villa is he's sort of been given the keys at Villa from the day that he walked in there, and he's turned it around massively. Villa, a lot of their goals come from out of nowhere, like screamers. I think I read that they've got like the lowest expected goals per shot in the league. Thankfully, we've got David Raya, who actually from distance is usually not the best, is he? But
let's not say that.
Yeah, let's not say that. No, but I go into every game very arrogantly now, and I sort of expect us to get a result in every single game. Villa, I think, will probably be our toughest game of the season so far, because like you say, they're in form. Imagine how loud the fans are going to be before this game, knowing that if they get a win, they go 3 points behind us in a title race. Whatever way you want to look at it, they are in a title race. I just don't want to see us too leggy. I think they should be in an ice bath right now, preparing for this one, because it's going to be end to end. Villa are relentless from minute 1 to 90. They don't stop coming at you, and they got some clinical players. I know you say Watkins wasn't great last year, but Watkins is the type of player that can create a goal out of absolutely nowhere. So we've got to be... I'm worried about the back line a bit. I haven't really looked into what we're possibly going to play. How do you see the back line going?
It's a great question for me, because I really don't know either, because of the fitness, or the lack of fitness, I should say, of Saliba. We don't know if he's 100%. Mosquera came off against Brentford. We don't know if he's fit enough to play. That leaves you some options, because you've obviously got the fullback scenario where you've got Calafiori and Lewis Skelly and White and Timber available, but some of those could be utilised in the middle, potentially, if need be, if the others are injured. But I've got a feeling Saliba might be fit for this one. because I really don't feel like he was, one to be worried about for weeks. I think it was a matter of days. And I do feel like there's the potential for Saliba to start alongside Nkapie, because I think Mosquera probably will miss out this one. And then I reckon it's going to be Timber and Calafiori. I don't want to go into the 11 because we've got a show about that and what we think that's going to be. Check that one out, people. But I will say this, like, when I'm in, like, my kind of best sort of back four, I want to be putting that against Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah, if possible, yeah. I mean, obviously, Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be out. But, yeah, I'm hearing the same thing as you're hearing, that Saliba should be back. And I hope that is the case because we will definitely need him. And, yeah, listen, the manager has options, you know what I mean? He does. You could play Ben White in the middle of the defence if needs be. He can play at right side of the centre-back pairing. But whoever it is, they need to know. Well, they know. You know what I mean? This is going to be a very difficult game.
Would you recall Kiwior?
Do you know what?
Not.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about recalling Kiwior. I wouldn't, and I did think he was excellent back end of the season. But I don't think we're at desperation levels yet. But that was not even something that I even thought about that. That's
I
a
thought
great
about
question.
it this morning. Would you? Probably not.
Well, if things carry on the way they are, they might have to.
If Nkapie goes down,
if he goes down, we might have to get on the blower. But
a quick word about Nkapie. I've been really impressed with him, man. I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good yesterday. There was a moment in the Chelsea game that I really loved when he put the tackle in on Neto, and they was in each other's faces. I thought, yeah, that's all you want.
You know, he reminds me of massively, and I actually quite liked this player. I had injury problems at Arsenal. Thomas Vermaelen.
Oh yeah.
Remember that
Belgian?
aggressive centre half? He used to
yeah.
actually. I quite rated him. Obviously, he was injured all the time, which was a bit frustrating. But I actually really like him. I think he's got potential to be really good for Arsenal. I'm a big fan. But to be fair, both of them, Mosquera as well.
Yeah, they're super. Mosquera's like a mixture of Gabriel and Saliba, a bit of a watered down version. But I like Nkapie as well. The only thing about him is he's rash. He's got that sort
He loves
of
the tackle.
South
Aggressive.
American.
Yeah.
The thing is with these South Americans is once they lose their head, they struggle to get it back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Romeros, the Lisandro Martinezes, you've got them.
But don't you think we need a bit of that at Arsenal? We do need that. I mean, Gabriel's got it, but we need some of that. You need that, especially in the Premier League.
Bit of bite.
Where it can get a bit angsty, can get a bit aggressive. You need players that can meet that head on.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I just don't want him to go flying into
No,
it.
you
You're
don't
going to
want
need
red
that
card.
against Villa because they got a couple of players that are up for that type of thing. I mean, John McGinn, he likes the challenge, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, look, that leads nicely on to my next question about Aston Villa's midfield, because I actually think it's probably their strongest part of their team. I think there's a lot of options they can have as well. I think they've got strength in depth. You look at Boubacar Kamara, I think he's criminally underrated for them. Obviously, Onana is still there, who we know about physically, very good. John McGinn gets a mention as the captain. Tielemans, I'm a big fan of. I think he's been excellent for Leicester and for Villa. But we've got a good midfield as well. I actually think it's really good.
One
this
guy
season as
that
well.
you didn't mention, Rodgers. Now, he's probably their most naturally talented player.
Yeah.
And,
Brilliant player.
On his day, he can be unplayable. And I'm sure he's looking forward to this game.
I think that if we dominate that midfield, I think we've got the best chance of winning the game. That midfield's massive.
I think it's midfield versus midfield, isn't it? I think it's our biggest strength. Obviously, defence is when everyone's fit, but we're very reliant on our midfield to win us games at the moment, especially Declan Rice. It's good. Villa have got a nice mixture of power and a little bit of finesse as well. With like Tielemans, and then you've got Onana, the big, strong that's going to sort of battle out. Would have that battle out with Rice. It's a game that I think could be won in midfield. And Declan Rice, please God, he's fit, because I think we could be in big trouble if he's not.
Well, now you know why I was so, steadfast in racing him. A lot of people kind of took it the wrong way. They interpreted it as him being dropped. I'm like, no, listen, I'm trying to protect the player, because against Chelsea, I reiterate, I saw signs of tiredness in him. Not that he was, bad. I mean, he still played well, but I just thought he wasn't at his normal level. That suggests to me a little bit of, if not physical tired, maybe mental. I mean, there was some difficult games. I mean, even though we stuffed Tottenham, the build-up to the game and all the intensity around it, that takes a bit of a toll. Even if you win the game easily, it still takes a toll. Then we had Bayern Munich, then we got Chelsea. All in the space of a week. So, and then he played against Brentford, took a knock, had to come off. I'm a little bit worried that going into that game, he might not be at his physical
apparently he
best.
said on Sky that he's fine, but he'd probably say that he's fine if he's always laying out.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So we need to play him. In my opinion, I would have taken him off a hell of a lot earlier against Brentford, and I do think with Club Brugge and Wolves coming up, there's an opportunity to actually rest him in those games. Yeah. Like you've said before, Laurie, Norgard, we've still got Zubamendi as well. Maybe you rest one of those for one and one of them for the other, but I do think this game Declan Rice absolutely has to play. And in terms of our attacking front three, we've mentioned Marino. Saka got that rest against Brentford. He came on and obviously scored. We imagine that he's going to start. That left-hand side, we've got some options now. You know, I don't particularly rate Noni Madueke on the left. I quite prefer him on the right, but he's one option. Eze can play out left, and we've got Martinelli. And Trossard, there's a question mark over his fitness still to come back. So that's the strength in depth, Matt.
I would have Madueke and Saka on the flanks, but switching quite often. I know they tried it against Chelsea and it didn't quite work. I don't think Madueke had enough time to get in the game properly. I think he needs 10 or 15 to just settle. But I'd actually start with Saka on the left. I think he'd cause Matty Cash a lot of issues. Matty Cash has been superb this season, but Matty Cash is quite physical, and I don't know if Madueke's got that physicality about him to match that, whereas Saka is so deceptively strong and well balanced. I'd start Saka on the left, Madueke on the right.
Interesting. Laurie?
You know what? Given that I think that the manager will probably go for Odegaard in the middle, and I can understand it because his running powers are superior to Eze's in terms of his pressing and his tracking back and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that Odegaard will start in the 10. Then I need to see Eze on that pitch. And the reason why I say that is because he is one of our most, if not the most creative players in the team. And I think in a tight game against the likes of a Villa, where opportunities might not be, overflowing, a guy like him who will shoot from outside the box, who will, look to make those slide rule passes, I want to see Eze on the pitch. So I'll put him in my left side. Okay, as more of a left-sided attacker rather than an out-and-out left winger.
I think, do you know what? The thing is with Odegaard, I love Odegaard. I know it can be frustrating a lot. I think that Arteta brought Eze in so we could have a different midfield. You can make 5 subs now, right? Which is basically changing half your team. We saw Odegaard come on against Newcastle and completely change the game, won us the game. I think Odegaard would be key to come on in this game in the 60th, 70th, and just completely change the whole dynamic, potentially unlock that defence. I think Odegaard should be benched for this one.
You know, it's mad because I look at the scenario of impact subs, and I thought Trossard was a player you bring on, right? This season, he's proven to me that he's a player you start, and Martinelli's the one that you bring on, right? When Martinelli's starting, I'm now starting to think, actually, I think you might now be better and it's a good thing because it's a good headache for Mikel Arteta to have, right? I actually do agree with Matt, though. Not that I would I think that Odegaard's not going to play because I think Odegaard will start. But I actually do think Odegaard coming on gives us a little bit of a different dynamic, if I'm honest. Now, it's not a good thing to say about your leader and your captain, right? But I do think that would actually be something in my head that makes sense. But he's got a really good sort of headache to have now, Mikel Arteta, about does he start Eze left? Does he put him in the middle, bring Odegaard on? Does he bring Martinelli on? This is what we couldn't do a few weeks ago that now we can do again.
And I think we're now in a day and age where being dropped is made so much more of a meal than it actually is. Because like I said, you can make 5 subs, you can change your team. If it's in the benefit of winning your team the game, it doesn't matter how many minutes you get, you've all got a part to play. And Odegaard coming on in the last 30 minutes, if it's more beneficial for us than him starting from minute 1 to 70, then he's got to take that role and accept that role. I know he's our captain, I'm just using Odegaard as an example here, but you want to get the best out of your team. And like you say, Trossard, we thought that he was best when he comes on, or Martinelli best when he comes on. If it's Odegaard, if we're getting the best out of him when he comes on, I don't think that that's a discredit to him not starting. I just think it's using your players to the best that you possibly can.
That's a good point. Although I do believe that Odegaard's running prowess, and listen, I'm not trying to be condescending anyway, he's a quality player. But what I'm saying is, in terms of out-and-out creativity, I would definitely give Eze the edge. I think he's a more naturally gifted footballer. But with Odegaard, he's gifted as well, but his running prowess will be important in a game like this because, you're away from home, you'd expect Villa to have quite a lot of the ball, and you need a guy that's going to press from the front, track back, help out the defenders. So I think he's more suited to that role. But if you have Eze on the pitch, then hopefully he can do his stuff up top.
No, I agree. Listen, we've spoken about the options we've got. We've spoken about the quality of Villa. Score predictions for this one. What are we saying, Matt?
These aren't games that title winners win. These are the games, City, Liverpool, Leicester. These are Chelsea. These are games that you go to and win. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, probably our toughest game of the season. But I think we're going to absolutely scrape a 1-0 win.
When you said absolutely, I thought, right, he's about to
same.
go there.
Absolutely smash, no scrape. We'll take that. I'll just take the 3 points. What are you saying, Laurie?
I agree with Matt. I think it's going to be a tight game. It could be 1 goal either way, a 1 goal swing. I'm going to go for Arsenal because they've shown up in big games. Didn't really show up for the Chelsea game as much as we would like, but you know what I'm saying. But I do think they'll edge it. But hear this, I think if we come out of there with a point, me personally, I won't be overly disappointed. I would take a point.
Depends on the context, though.
Oh, yeah, naturally.
You would have taken
if
a
we're
point
2 goals
Rich.
up and then concede 2 in the last 5 minutes, that's different. But if it's a hard-fought draw and we come out of there with credit, then I would not be seriously disappointed because, we do have Wolves the following week and get an opportunity to, make up the points. But, yeah.
I think this will be the most difficult game we've played so far. I actually do. And I don't want to be pessimistic, but I do think I see 1-1 in this game. Am I being too pessimistic there?
No, it's a very, very fair prediction, yeah.
Because we have to give Villa their respect. Like I said before, they are the form team in the Premier League at the moment. They've moved into third, which now means they have aspirations of their own. They'll be playing at home. If you look at Arsenal's history, 12:30 kickoffs are normally not that great for us. This is going to be a proper game. So if we go up there and play well, we can beat them. If we go up there, play well and get a draw, I'll take it.
I think it's an absolute disgrace, by the way, that us and Villa got the early kickoff when we played late Wednesday.
Yeah.
What sense does that make?
None. 0 sense. And I think Arteta said it in the press conference, didn't he, that we played Wednesday night and now all of a sudden we've got to play both of us on the Saturday morning game. And it's not looking after player welfare. But I don't know how they look after player welfare really with all the games you've got, but they're doing a pretty bad job at trying. I mean, the Crystal Palace Arsenal game was a disgrace as well, that they've moved things now. But that was just a joke, really, to put that, all for TV and all for money again. It's crazy. So player welfare has to be in for it. But look, the boys have gone for an Arsenal win. I've been a bit pessimistic going for a draw. Although I don't think that means title over and all this stuff if that does happen. Manchester City will obviously be on our tail, but they're going to be. They're a top side and, we have to respect that. But let us know your score predictions in the comment section and what team you would go with. Please make sure you check out the content. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and make sure you're giving all of us a follow as well. And we will see you on the next one, people. We're out of here.